Hello, everyone. How are you? And welcome to Coaches Supporting Coaches, but three coaches, one topic. I was just saying to the guys, all of us have been feeling a little bit unwell this week, so please forgive me if I am getting my tongue all tied. But yes, this is three coaches, one topic. And today, Jihan and Garane are joining me. And we will start off just by giving a brief introduction of who we are and our coaching business before we get to discover what topic we're talking about today. So I will pass you over to Jihan.
Thank you, Donna. Hi, everyone. So my name is Jihan Gatti. I'm the founder of Expand Coach, which is a leadership consultancy and coaching practice. And basically what I love is just working with people that want to be coached, means they're really looking to step up their game in times of change and just achieve more and impact more. So it's about change and resilience and mindset and a lot of exciting things, at least for me and for my clients.
Yeah, I know we do get excited, don't we? We like what we do. We've got to get excited as well. Garane.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Garine, founder of Gratifying Wellness, and I help people who have chronic and autoimmune conditions to feel more energetic, reduce symptoms, and feel happier in their body through the functional medicine approach and working on the mindset and everyday habits because they have big impact on our wellness or illness state.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love the fact that when we get together, you know, you two are very much about your professional development and learning and how can I be better? What else is there? What has changed? How is that going to help the clients? So, yeah, we do have some really good in-depth conversations. So my name's Donna Burfield, and I'm the founder of Joy and Purpose Coaching. I'm certified and licensed coach, and I love working with parents. I love all things to do with children and bonding and flipping your mindset and organizing and just getting creative. Also the founder of Coaches Supporting Coaches, and that's a platform where coaches come together not to necessarily sell their business to each other. It's a safe space where we can discuss things and support each other personally and professionally. Yeah, and I just get very excited about that as well. So I'm excited all the time.
So that's very relevant.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. I'm a joy and purpose coach. And this is what makes me laugh. People go, why are you so happy? What do you do? Joy and purpose coach. Oh, that makes sense. So what we're doing today is we've got a wheel with 8 topics. And we spin the wheel, whatever topic it lands on, we will have a very relaxed conversation, and we will share things from our past that are relevant, that resonate with us, and also it will feed into maybe some case studies and hopefully leave you with some tools and strategies at the end. So, and if anybody has any questions, please pop them in the comments. Even if you're watching the replay, you know, it will pop up, especially on my feed anyway, and I will answer it or get the person that you want to answer it. So answer it. Right. So what we'll do is let's just go straight to the wheel now. Oh, hold on a second. I told you I wasn't feeling very well today. Sorry. Okay, so changing state. That is our topic for today. So now this is quite a good one. Let me just remove that, put this back. When you saw that, what does changing state, what comes up? What do you envision? Did you feel it anywhere? Go.
I might go first. changing state for me is what comes before changing the behavior. So I just give an example. So if I come home and I'm already exhausted from work, and my son will come and like, Mom, no. If I'm exhausted or someone crossed the road in front of me, or that's my state is exhausted and tired and angry, I will most probably snap at him. But then if I come back home and I'm like, I did a great work and I'm excited and someone said something nice to me, or I felt like I'm energized, and he comes like that, having exactly the same behavior, my response will be completely different. And that's for me the power of state. So state is as if we are handed a menu at the restaurant, and we can only, if we are at a specific state, we have a specific menu, these are the specific behaviors we can display. We cannot access another behavior if we don't change state. Yeah. So changing state for me is the opening gate to changing our behavior, and by changing our behavior, we change our results.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, Darine.
I'm sorry, Darine. Seriously, I am going straight to bed after this. Apologize.
Okay, I feel the same, recovering from cold, and I'm not at my best. For me, when I saw changing state, what came to me is that, well, life is not static. We're not static. We're always in a changing mode. And at every time, we need to look at the changing state in a way that is allowing us to grow, to develop, to thrive, to achieve our goals, our dreams. So we need to accept that changing state, the changing nature of life, and be resilient and go with the flow and just reach for the dreams.
Reach for the dreams. Yeah, I think what came up for me with changing state now, whenever I think of that, I always think of Tony Robbins, because he really does promote this quite heavily. And it is about changing not only your mindset, but your physiology. And for me, it's a flag, and it's an awareness of you could feel stuck, you could feel overwhelmed. So all those negative emotions. Okay, so look at your posture, look at your tone of voice, look at, the environment you're in. And if you want to change that particular situation, then you have to get up, physically move, and reframe again. So what do you think of that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we were taught some nice hacks when I was studying NLP specifically. That's the thing, is that it's the other way around. So we all know about the power pose, and then if you open your shoulders and you sit like you are powerful, then that will have an impact on changing the state. So there are some hacks that can help. I don't know if I can share some right now. So
yeah, sure.
So one of them is saying, and I think I shared this with Karina once when we were just talking, is shaking. Yeah. So when you shake, and then they say that's why children love trampoline, because if you really shake your body and you try to be sad, you just cannot make it. You cannot feel the sadness. Your body doesn't. Shaking for him is not compatible with the chemistry of sadness. So you can't feel sad if you go with the shaking. And then I heard someone else last week also talking about another modality that's a modality of healing, but it also, in terms of how things are in the body, and when we move certain parts of the body and we change our physical state, we can actually impact our emotion. Now, it's not the end of it. For me, it's just making us a little bit more resourceful. But then obviously there's a lot on the mindset to change. And then another one, if we are to cry, but then for some kind of reason, it's not appropriate to cry then. I mean, crying is okay, but sometimes, like if I start crying right now for any reason, that's not going to be okay.
Please don't.
Just to look up. So we say you look up, and when you look up, you cannot do the crying when you're starting it. So these are some hacks. So yeah, it definitely works. Not the final fix, but it helps.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that Band-Aid, isn't it? It's that quick fix. It makes you aware. It stops you in your track and say, okay, hold on a second, what's going on? So, yeah. What about you, Gareth? Actually, if you've got any tips, you can say it now.
Yeah, actually, I like the tips idea. Very interesting with the shaking. Something that helped me a lot is your eyesight. So whenever we are stressed or upset, we tend to have focused vision. But when we try to focus on something that is far and try to see as much as possible from the peripheral vision, so expanding the eyesight and the vision, this helps us to calm down and relax. It's instant change in the mood, in your emotions, in your physiology, just by changing your vision, and it works.
Yeah, and that's when you can get creative and have a lot of fun. Because I used to do that, at school with my kids, with the students, when they're sat there, it's a long day. They've gone from lesson to lesson to lesson, and if you have the students for learning support, oh my gosh, at the last lesson, they don't want to be there. They want to go home. So especially when they were younger, if there was like a trampoline, those small sports one, I would say, okay, what do you have to learn? Is it for science, homework, what have you? And they would be bouncing up and down on the trampoline, and I would bounce the ball to them and get them to learn it that way. We would laugh, we would have a lot of fun. And also, because they're changing their environment, they were a lot more productive, they were a lot more energized. And when they had to go and sit in another room, they could actually recall that information a lot easier. So, it does work, but get creative with yourself as well. So, what's happened with you in the past before we did all the coaching and we've, done the NLP tricks and tips and so forth? How did you realize that you needed to change your state? Did you know instinctively what to do? Or did you continue to feel stuck?
Go, Garine.
Well, it wasn't easy. Yeah, I knew I was not happy. So that was the sign that a change is needed. But it took me a long time to actually figure it out, honestly. And I did need external help and working with a therapist to understand, how I could make the changes first inside and then, outside, changing the environment, finding my passion, and, get excited about life again.
Yeah, because it does become overwhelming, doesn't it? And when you go, I don't know what's wrong. I live in a nice place. I have this, I have that, but I'm just still not happy. And
exactly,
how do I get out of that? Shihan, what came up for you?
I used to always say I get bored of being bored, or I get bored of being sad, or I get bored of being angry. It was so weird. Like if I go down at some point of time, I'm like, oh, I had enough of that. Like it was so weird, and that realization somehow could take me up. I just get bored of that state, whatever that state is. Even anger, I used to be very, like, even now if I watch a movie, I can still cry watching a movie, but I used also to be very sensitive, like feeling hurt. Someone will say something to me, I will get hurt. When I was at school and I go to present something, my face will get very red. And then me noticing it, my face will get even redder. So that sensitivity was not specifically helping me, but maybe it was helping me because it was that overwhelm point was reached very quickly. So that I very quickly start to try snapping out of it. The other thing is sometimes I don't realize, and what I'm going to say is funny for me, but I love Italian songs from the 80s. So from my country, I'm from Tunisia. So it's like I heard a lot of Italian songs from the 80s, and somehow And I say it all the time, but it's weird how sometimes we know what would make us change states and we still don't apply it. Like for me, the music and things with Eros Ramazzotti or Ricky Poveri or whatever Italian songs will instantly lift me up.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's also moving our body. And yet sometimes I forget. Sometimes I will go down, even now, and I will be thinking about complex things and techniques and stuff like that, while just switching on the radio, going to YouTube and finding the song would make it for me. So I think it's very important for everyone to just pause and say, what would make me happy? What's the state? State can be a choice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise we can go into a default mode state. So it's a good idea to say, okay, how do I, and it's easier when we are on that high state to say, I love this. What needs to happen for me to be feeling this? And getting back to the workshop you've done, Donna, last week, it's the jar thing. The jar thing is stuck in my mind now. Not just for the gratitude, but just saying, maybe make a jar in there and saying, okay, I noticed that when I listen to this song, it makes me happy. I noted there and I put it in the jar. And I noticed that when I talk to that person, it's there. And whenever we feel down in our state, we go to that bank account of good states and we take something and we put it in place because we don't remember always.
No, and I'm really grateful that you mentioned that, because I used to do, again, with my students, you know, because when they're in learning support and they're struggling with dyslexia, dyscalculia and ADHD and so forth, you know, and trying to concentrate, they are hard on themselves. And at the end of every lesson, I would ask them to put one thing that they've been grateful for that day, and also their one takeaway. So they would fold it up, write their name and the date, and they would put it in a jar. And on the way out, I had a sign that said, I am enough, I am worthy, I am enough. And every time they had to walk out, I said, you've got to high five that sign and say it out loud. They're like, nice. Mrs. Burfield. Look, come on, what are you? And they go, I'm worthy, I'm enough. But they ended up, you know, and you got like these 6'2" 17-year-olds. And then at the end of term, we would have a little celebration, and I'd never read it. And I handed back all their gratitudes and takeaways. And I said, right, guys, now tell me what a fantastic term you've had. And if you want to share anything. And they're like, oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that was a really good day. And their state changed automatically. But again, music as well. Music was a big one for me in class. We always had music. So they all knew about The Greatest Showman, and I used to torture them.
I wish I had you as a teacher, Donna. Like, it sounds amazing.
No, it was again for me, I suppose, you know, with some of my learning difficulties, it was good because I understood how they were feeling as well. And if I didn't, and they told me, I would adapt it accordingly. So Garine, what's your one thing to go to? Is it music? Is it a particular type of music? Or is it going out for a walk, or, you know, taking some time to yourself?
All right. Well, music is really powerful. For me, it's the Armenian folkloric, you know, very energetic types of music. And, you know, my girls laugh at me whenever I start dancing, but it really brings me joy and changes my states. I feel like the vibration from the music changes me from inside. And the other thing I like to do is go and hug a tree. So I sneak into the park and look around, and if no one's watching, I would hug a tree and just feel calm and focus again. And yeah, and I go back to the car energetic.
I remember when you told me that the first time, I was just like, did she really just say this?
Yeah, and you know, my girls are used to it. Whenever we go somewhere with trees, okay, mom, so you're gonna hug another tree. Do you want a photo?
How did that come to you, Garine? So like, did you hear about it and you tried it, or did it come instinctively to you?
I think from my childhood, my grandfather had a farm. So for me, it was natural. It was a happy place to sit under the tree, hug the tree, climb the tree. And when I came to Dubai, like 16 years, been living here, it was an issue because I needed that to be in touch with the ground and the trees.
Yeah.
So later, I found some parks and stuff. But it's not like, when I traveled back to Amman, when you're walking in the streets, the trees are there. You can just hug and touch the leaves everywhere while you're walking. And I do that all the time. And people might think I'm crazy, but it makes me feel good.
But you've got to do what's good for you. I mean, I'm like a meerkat. If there's a song that comes on, I could be talking to you guys and there's a song and I'm just like, sorry, conversation finished. I need to move and dance on the spot.
Yeah, yes.
And then I'm back in the room again. But I do have my quirky little things as well. But
yeah. And similar to the jar idea, like when working with my clients, I encourage them to do like a mini menu of self-care or things that would, pick up their mood. Even if it's just, wearing red lipstick at home, if that makes you happy, then do it. So think of what would change your mood and have it on a list, because like Jihan mentioned, we tend to forget when we are in that moment, we tend to forget what would make us happy. So have a menu, have the jar, put it somewhere visible, and you can access that.
One thing that I do for my clients, and I do it for adults and for children, so this isn't just for kids, is kind of like a wheel of choice. I like wheels for some reason. I don't know why. Honestly, I've got one on my neck. It's just like, I don't consciously go out to do it, and the wheel of choice is a way of self-regulating you and when you want to get out of that state. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, confused, anxious, and it can be anything from yoga to exercising to singing to dancing to punching the pillow if that's something that floats your boat, and then when they are feeling that way, it's just like, right, what am I going to do? Spit. So it's a fun element as well. Okay, right, I'm going to go and do this. So yeah, those are fun things that you can have around the room, in your children's bedroom, get them to do it. And the same with you and your partner, when you feel that your relationship, look, we haven't been out, we're bickering, what can we do? Okay, let's go for a walk on the beach. Let's go for a date night. Let's cook each other dinner. Let's, have the kids stay over at somebody else's house for the night. So yeah, there's fun ways that you can do that. But do you find as well that you see some people who are quite quick to reverse that and get themselves into a depressive, I use that in quotes, state, that victim mindset and poor me? They could be happy and talking and then all of a sudden they can switch.
Yeah, they can. And that because when you were also talking about that, it reminded me of something that it's called the Book of Rules.
Mm-hmm.
Because I love this idea that we come as humans with such a beautiful machinery in terms of our mind and our body, but we don't have the user manual. And one part of the user manual is the Book of Rules, means that there's this exercise of saying, okay, so what are the states that I love to be in? Let's say it's happiness, excitement, whatever. What needs to happen for me to feel happy? I can say I need to be in good health. I need to be with my family. I need to be having a good job. I need to have X amount of money in the bank. I need that. And then on the other side, saying, what state do you want to avoid? For example, I want to avoid being angry. What needs to happen for you to be angry? Well, if someone crossed the road with the car, if that person will talk to me that way, But what's important, that's insightful about this exercise, back to your question, Donna, is that saying, okay, so for you to be happy, you need this. Is one thing enough, or you need a combination?
Yeah.
Oh no, for me to be happy, if I have health but not money, I'm not happy. So I actually need the health plus the money plus everything with my family plus. What do you need to be angry. Oh, it's enough for someone to say something to me and I will be angry. And it's so eye-opening. I saw so many people doing that. And then they list of the states they want to be in. They will be putting a book of rules, bundling a lot of things together that needs to happen for them to be happy. While for them, their book of rules to get on the other side, one thing is enough. And that's an eye-opener, because you said it in your question. They make themselves go to that state very quickly. Because in their book of rules, they made it very easy for them. And just reflecting on that and looking at it, say, okay, maybe I need to change my rules, because I'm making my life quite difficult that way. Because you don't do it consciously.
No, but I think also, being devil's advocate here, that it's good to have a certain amount of, again, it's healthy boundaries, isn't it? Of knowing, like, that trigger, injustice. You see things that happen in the streets, somebody's being rude or racist or what have you. And the amount of people that sit by and don't do anything or say anything, for me, that's a red flag. I mean, I would react. That is a trigger. You know, my brain wouldn't even be engaged before my legs would be over there. Which has happened a few times and got myself into a little bit of bother. But however, it's about, I need to taper that down, but I like the fact that it makes me passionate about what's right and wrong.
Yeah, but now we're talking about something a bit different. Is, are emotions bad or good? And for me, when I say, there's a different definition of everything, but for me, a state means something that is staying also. Like, I can have the emotion of anger. Emotion, for people who don't know, it's energy in motion. So there's motion in it. It brings us to do something. So it can be a trigger, as you said. The problem can happen if it's going to last.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. And in my understanding, a state is something that's not just triggering, is something that will stay for quite a long time. I think it's Joe Dispenza said something about emotions and state and mood, and how staying in the same emotion can become like a personality trait. Oh, he's always sad. He's always angry. That's not, for me, the state that person most probably want to be.
But I think it is a choice. Like, it is still a choice. I mean, it could be a habit and it becomes, unconscious action and reaction.
Yeah.
But deep down, it is a choice. So if you, like in the question that you asked, Donna, you're saying someone is in a happy mood, so many positive things are happening, and then they get into a depressive mood. That is a choice. Like, sometimes they need help to realize it's a choice, and they have tools to change their mood and how they view things. But for me, I mean, you can decide, do you want to stay in that mood or do something about it?
Yeah, I do agree with a certain amount. Well, I'm full of contradictions, and I think that's where I'm very human. I think we all are to a certain degree. But I think it depends if there's anything medically wrong, obviously, that you may not have a choice. And if you can see it. How many times have people been in an argument, or as a parent, at their child, the phone rings, hello? Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, okay, I can meet you later. Thank you very much. Put the phone down. Again. So we can, and that's a choice. So I think once we're more aware, it's more empowering that actually, do I want to stay in this negative space, or do I want to move forward? But sometimes you go, you know what? I do want to be sad today. I am going to put that film on. I am going to put that song on. I need to have a cry. It helps. But you don't want to stay there, do you?
No, you don't want. But and then what you said is different, because it's not feeling as a victim. It's like, I realize I'm in this phase now. and it's this season of my life or the season of my day, I'm down. That's okay, and I choose not to be specifically bothered that I'm down.
Yeah.
So I will take the time and rest and see it from a different perspective rather than saying, no, I don't like this, I don't want it, I need to fight being down specifically. I find sometimes like accepting, saying, okay, I feel sad or I feel down and I don't even know why. Let me just listen to my body and slow down, and then you will see what will happen.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And talking about changing state is getting a good tribe around you, which comes perfectly with Jen,
Yeah.
who runs Female Fusion Network and Fusion Circle. Now, this is for female entrepreneurs. And again, you can get yourself into a right state of overwhelm and imposter syndrome and feeling inadequate and so forth. But when you're in a tribe like that, and everybody has been through at some stage your journey, or you're further along and the new people are starting. So there's that. If you want that pick me up, it's good to go and have people that are surrounding you that have been there, that can share some tools and strategies and help flip that mindset and go, you know what, you will come through this.
Absolutely, and then it's and that's where I love also going to the female fusion events whenever I can, is that there's this energy that can be uplifting, you know. There was this kind of experiment that I just going to share very quickly.
Yeah.
And I was part of it. So we just colluded together.
Yeah.
That one of us who was outside was going to come and do a kind of presentation, but that we will be seeing him as someone that is really not good, that we really don't love what he's saying, like whatever. We colluded into that, right? Without saying anything, just in terms of our energy and our feeling, and obviously it will show somehow, but it's not like we are exaggerating our facial. It's just like we're looking at things. I'm not interested, right? And the impact that has on him and on changing his state from him coming like excited, etc., and then feeling this vibe was really an eye opener. Which doesn't mean that we are specifically a victim of our surrounding. We just need to be mindful that it has an impact. So that's even more of a reason to make sure that we are in a high state, so we can be pulled down very quickly. And then second, to be very mindful of the people who are somehow contributing with us to uplifting. Because I also, someone once told me this, like I was complaining, I'm like, oh, I need to help this person, I couldn't help this person. He said, do you realize what you're doing? And I'm like, what? I mean, I know about this victim thing, but okay, but that's and he said, what are you transmitting out?
Yeah.
Are you contributing to making things around you higher or lower? I'm like, oh my gosh. Because that's what we're always doing. But the thing is, are we doing it conscious? Sometimes for some people, it's more about, okay, poor me, and it's fine if I'm down. But then if you tell them, but you're making other people down also, just by that will impact them much more, because they care for some reason more about the others than themselves.
Yeah, exactly. Your state can have this domino effect hugely. You can go into a room fully positive, but if there's other people there that are bringing you down, oh my word, you do feel like the life is being sucked out of you, and it's draining. It's draining. But you've got to think about where you are. Are you contributing or are you taking away? So what about you, Donna? Before we sign off, is there anything else that you would like to share? What's come to your mind?
Well, a tip or an advice that you be careful who you choose to be in your surrounding, in your close circle. They will have impact on your mood. Of course, you can try, to always be positive and protect yourself and, have that, positive outlook. but people around you can drain you, can bring you down. And sometimes, people could be jealous, or they have their own issues, whatever problems. They had a bad day. You come excited, you tell them, oh, I did this and I achieved this. And then they look at you, what? Okay.
Yeah.
and that may bring you down unless you are already aware of them and their impact, and you do something to protect yourself. So it's important in having a tribe like CSC, having a tribe like Female Fusion. It's really uplifting, and I wish every woman especially realizes the power of this. I find men generally are better in expressing their emotions and getting the support they need and talking, but women, we tend to think about others first, and then we get stuck in our emotions. So reach out to friends. If you don't have friends, find the community, a tribe that you could feel you belong to.
Yeah.
And that helps so much. So there should be someone on your phone contacts you could call or message whenever you're feeling down.
And it is about being aware of those people that are around you, because people connect so much quicker if it's negative. I'm sure you've been to some mum groups and you could be talking about, oh, this went really well, this went really well, and there's not a great deal of engagement. Then somebody will walk in and go, the traffic was terrible, I got this, I got that. Oh, me too, where did you go? And all of a sudden they're bonding and having a jolly good old time blaming the the traffic system. It was just like, hold on a second. So yeah, it is again about taking that step back and saying, how do I feel in that crowd? What's the energy like? Am I inspired, uplifted? Or also sometimes you need a different group to help bring that calm. I need a group where I can have that deep think and that collaboration, that brainstorming. So Jihan, is there anything that you'd like to say before we part?
So for me, it's important to understand that changing state is most of the time choice, or the state, being in a state is most of the time a choice. That, as you said, we have some kind of negativity bias, means we go more to the negative than the positive, which means that we need to really plan to be in a good state. It doesn't happen naturally for most of us. So, and the other thing, I don't remember exactly the code, but it's something saying, well, you can say your work or your relationship or your life or whatever is more important than your state. Means even if you feel sometimes down, still do the movement. That's the thing. I mean, yes, sometimes we need to hibernate and calm down, but I find that more often movement, and they say when the body moves, the brain moves. So be in movement. If you can, if physically you can, you're not really sick or whatever, and you feel down, just do something to move your body, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's even just sitting up.
Do it. Yeah. Just do it. And as Garina was saying, that thing about looking at the sky or at the desert or at the sea or whatever is really, really a good hint to change your state.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I agree. I think, just get that when you're in a good, happy, neutral place, have a little checklist that you can put on the fridge or what have you. As you said, if it's somewhere outside, if it's hugging a tree, if it's laying, going to your spot on the beach and smelling the sea air and having the sun on your body, and or when you're sat at the computer the whole time and you can feel that strain, have a timer so you can sit back and slouch so much. But no, this is fantastic. Garine and Jihan, thank you so very much for joining us. And Jihan, well, both of you, I won't be seeing you on here until January now. So I wish you a very happy festive season and a very, very happy new year, and look forward to seeing you in person to give you a big hug and a kiss.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Take care, ladies. Thank you so
you.
very, very much.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.